Hello children, it is me, McGrouch, and things have not been going well. It all started when I got to #1 on the YouTube hyped video chart. Safe to say it went to my head. I cut all ties with friends and family, I crashed my car into a light pole, and I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into non-grouchable tokens. But I am back before you once again, a reasonable man who does reasonable things for reasonable reasons. This was going fine until I encountered an unreasonable weapon. A weapon whose very existence seems to be a source of psychic damage to the Helldivers community at large. Of course, I am talking about the Epoch, or as I prefer to call it, the Quasar Cannon, but more dangerous for no reason. Or, as I actually prefer to call it, the Jenkanin. The Jenkanin is for people who have no mouth, but they must have their cake and eat it too. In essence, this oversized purifier does 2 jobs with 1 support weapon. At least, it tries to do 2 jobs. It is likely to be fired from both in the near future. The one that it is likely to be fired from first is dealing with groups. Don't listen to what is on this weapon's LinkedIn. It is a fucking liar. It will attempt to give you references, such as the massive size of its projectile radius. That radius is not at all indicative of the actual area effect that this weapon has. Why would they add a cosmetic effect like that? Not a single fucking clue. But they did. And it is irritating. The second job that this weapon sucks at is anti-armor. It sucks slightly less at this job, and in a vacuum, where sucking is at its maximum, I would almost say that this weapon approaches being usable. Unfortunately, we do not live in a vacuum. I can tell because your room is fucking disgusting. When compared to virtually any other anti-tank weapon, the Epoch comes up short. It lacks the raw damage of the recoilless, the immediacy of the commando, the disposability of the EAT, the fire and forgetfulness of the spear, the constant presence of the Quasar Cannon, and the accuracy of the railgun. And let's keep an eye on that railgun for a second, because even though the Epoch may lack its accuracy, it does have another notable feature from the railgun: the ability to overcharge to completion, resulting in a total self-destruction of the weapon and subsequently you. A notable difference between the railgun's explosive feature and the Epoch's is the fact that the railgun allows you to choose to enter the possibly going to kill you mode, which, while less powerful, is not going to maybe kill you. This is a feature notably absent on the Epoch, meaning that every time you charge up might be the last time you charge up. I am told that this is because the Epoch is a prototype. So the real question is, when are they gonna add a safe mode? The answer is obvious: never. The Epoch's unfinished state is the Epoch's finished state. It's like Star Citizen. This wouldn't be a huge issue if I felt like you got your money's worth out of each individual shot. But the primary thing that this weapon is going to be fired for is embezzlement. The effectiveness of the Epoch is downright fraudulent. Let's assume you risk limb and life, but mostly life, and attempt to charge this weapon to 99%. You have just made your second mistake. Your first was not taking the railgun, which, while presenting you with equal risk at 99%, does nearly twice the goddamn damage at the same pen. But of course, the Epoch does AoE damage. The railgun could never. Yes, enemies near the epicenter of that Epoch expulsion should quiver in fear, unless they're more than 3 meters away from the epicenter. Unless you overcharge it. Oh, can't neglect that compulsory overcharge. That increases the damage radius from 3 meters to 4 meters. I'm pretty sure leaded gasoline has a wider damage radius. You know what has the same damage radius? You just straight up self-destructing the Epoch. Boom! Son of a bitch. Something that you, if you're not careful, are going to find yourself doing a lot with this weapon. The fact that the Epoch lacks a safe mode means that there is a certain amount of effort inherent in taking this weapon, which I simply do not wish to subscribe to. Speaking of which, did you know that over % of those watching aren't subscribed? In case that's too subtle, I'm asking you to subscribe. Also, hype the video. I've decided that the hype leaderboard is my domain now. I wish to build a summer home there. If you can't find the hype button, it's because it's only on mobile, or because you're watching this video more than a week after release. Point is, hype the video if you can. The dual dogshit nature of this weapon means that it is difficult to know exactly when you should be taking it. Maybe in situations where you want to prioritize ammo efficiency, but don't want to take the Quasar or Laser because it might end up locking you into one specific playstyle. The Epoch might be a good option in this case, except for, no it's not, because it has a fucking ammo count, and not a very high one. You get 5 mags, 3 shots per mag, 15 shots total. This is an ideal amount to give a weapon if you want to ensure that nobody will ever figure out how they were meant to use it. It's enough ammo to be wasteful with, but not enough ammo to have it be your consistent offensive answer as the autocannon might be. Add to that everyone's favorite mechanic, stationary reloads, and it becomes clear that the Epoch never stood a chance, especially given the nature of its projectiles. These shots can do a lot, these shots can do a little. In most cases, I find they do absolutely nothing at all. It seems that the core design philosophy of this weapon is to try and be a more powerful purifier. The only issue is that the purifier is just unequivocally better at crowd control than this thing will ever be. The Epoch's only advantage over the purifier is its fairly high armor pen. Armor pen that is still gated behind a fucking charge-up time. Add to all of this the fact that it lacks any destructive capabilities, so bug holes are a no-go. It is capable of two-tapping automaton fabricators, but I am not taking a support weapon to deal with automaton fabricators. No one is taking a support weapon to deal with automaton fabricators, unless you're using the Quasar cannon. But honestly, with the time getting on the Quasar, it's closer to an orbital than a support weapon. And I don't talk about orbitals on this channel yet, except for the Quasar cannon video. But besides that, the key consideration you need to make when using this weapon is as follows. Do I want to make my run worse for no goddamn reason? If the answer is no, then you need to accept the fact that this weapon, in its current iteration, is probably not going to be for you. When using it against groups, you need to aim at the ground. If you want to use it against a specific armored enemy, then you are going to need to shoot it directly at that enemy. Essentially, this is an anti-armor weapon or an anti-group weapon, not both. Have you ever noticed that you've never seen the anti-armor capabilities and the anti-group capabilities of this weapon in the same place at the same time? Oh my god, it's like they're the same weapon. Superman reference, cause I'm a bong rock. Legitimately, leave a comment telling me why I am wrong on this one, because I would love to be wrong on this one. Also, I need the engagement. I know I suck at this game, but I can generally find at least a hypothetical situation where a gun might be good. I don't know what that hypothetical situation is with this gun. The only real consistency I see with this weapon is its consistent ability to fucking kill you. In that way, it shares the same through line as the flatline you'll have after using it. I have seen situations where any other anti-tank weapon would have gotten the job done, and the Epoch failed to perform. It ends up feeling less like a support weapon and more like a collapse weapon. A feeling not aided by the fact that you have to actively work against this weapon's natural inclination to fucking kill you. But let's say for one reason or another, maybe you lost a bet, maybe you just hate yourself, you find yourself wanting to take the Epoch. What advice can I offer to make this run a little bit less painful than it's definitely going to be? We'll start by taking a look at your primary. Now, you can take whatever you want, you know, it's your prerogative. I will say that if you are taking an Epoch, you're probably going to want to take the Purifier, so you can remind yourself that there are in fact good guns in this game.
Oh my god! Wait, what the fuck? The Purifier outperforms it so easily! What the actual fuck? It's not even close!
As I've said before, the Purifier is like the Epoch, but if it weren't designed poorly. The only other piece of advice that's really going to save you regularly when using the Epoch is taking some kind of mobility backpack. For me, this means the jump pack. This will allow you to make distance before you do the stationary reload, saving your life many times over. When you run out of ammo, you can simply jump away, hide behind the corner, reload, and then get right back to killing. Or, you know, trying to kill at least. Other than that, I really don't have any other advice to help you. You know, this whole thing, if you're taking the Epoch, man, it's your metaphorical, literal funeral. Point is, don't say that I didn't warn you. Anyway, that's the Epoch. I don't like it. Bye.
Subscribe to McGrouch. 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 Subscribe.